I think we can finish up section 3 today. Are you ready? Hey everyone, Cristin here, and we have all of 1 and 2 done, sections 1 and 2, and then we have most of section 3 done. Now that we did the 3 spools and we did the iron block, so there's really only 1 more official block and then 3, I think, filler blocks. So I think that we can do that all today and finish up section 3. I'm pretty excited. I haven't tested it yet to see what will fit in 1 hooping or 2 hoopings or what it'll take, but I figured let's give it a try. So let's go over what we need for today, starting with the cross stitch heart. So the cross stitch heart is on page 24 of our book. And let's see here, looks pretty simple. Looks like 2 fabrics in there and a batting, not too bad. Oh, 3, maybe 3 fabrics and a batting. All right, so it looks like there are 2 cross stitch hearts. One is for section 3, so we do need that one today. Another one is for section 4, so I say we go ahead and finish that up, do them together, and then we'll have a little added bonus for later. So just like we've been doing on Red, White, and Bloom, if you're following me on that quilt as well. So cross stitch heart, there are 2 of them. It's on page 24 of our booklet. Yep, 24. And then, like I said, there's 2 of them. So we only need 1 right now. I believe it's the blue one. So let's go ahead and talk about what we need for today. So there is this navy blue fabric with dark navy flowers. So it's really like a bluish tealish fabric with navy flowers on it, and this we're going to start with at 6.5 by 6.5. Make sure to back this with Fusible stabilizer to ward off puckers. 6.5 by 6.5 for your main fabric. And then for the other one, for the other cross stitch heart, if you're going to do both of them, the other fabric is also a fabric with flowers on it. This one is a light pink, kind of a dusty mauve pink flower, or dusty mauve fabric with pink flowers on it, darker pink flowers on it. That's really pretty. And this one, again, same like the other one, 6.5 by 6.5 for your main fabric, and backed with Fusible stabilizer. And that's for those 2. So there's cross stitch heart 1 and cross heart stitch 2. Cross stitch heart 2. Got that mixed up. All right. And then for the part that's inside of the hoop, and the hoop was just a stitch on, we're just stitching on it. But for the applique piece, it is a tan silky solid, very light tan, almost like, I don't know, very light, almost a whitish, yellowish, tan peach. I don't know, very light, silky solid. And this one we're going to start with at 4 by 4, and that's for cross stitch heart 1. So same thing for cross stitch heart 2, 4 by 4, same fabric, silky solid, backed with Fusible stabilizer. If you do that on your applique pieces, I recommend it, but that's up to you. So 4 by 4, 1 for heart 2 is cross stitch heart 1 and cross stitch heart 2. All right, and then we have our batting, because we're going to quilt this. So our batting, we're going to have at 5 by 5, 2 pieces, 1 for each of them, for each of the blocks, because we're going to do 2 blocks. And again, you can do one of them later if you choose. So 5 by 5 on your batting, and then we are going to quilt these. The first one, this blue one, we are going to use, what is it called? Hearts 5. Hearts 5 in a 4 by 4. That's our quilting for this one. Hearts 5 in a 4 by 4 design. And then for the pink one, the quilting is going to be zigzag 2, 4 by 4 in a vertical. Remember, zigzag 2 comes in horizontal or vertical, so we're going to use a vertical one for the quilting on this one. That'll be really cute, actually. So that zigzag on a cross stitch, I think that'll be really cute. Pretty fun. All right, so that's all we need for the cross stitch hearts that are on page 24. And then I think that we can also fit in the batting blocks. I think there's only 3 of them. Yep, 3 fillers. So let's talk about those real quick too. In fact, let me grab that. Hold on. All right, I assumed they wouldn't be in order, and I did have them in order. I'm pretty happy about that. All right, so Just like I mentioned in the prep video, whenever we do the filler blocks, I recommend doing them about a 1/2 inch larger. Anything larger really is fine, but a 1/2 inch will make sure that it's going to tack down when we do our quilting, and that just makes it easier. If you didn't watch the prep video before you cut and you cut them to the size listed in the book, that's totally fine. It will still work. It's just, in my opinion, is easier if we do the 1/2 inch larger so that it will tack down and then we just trim it at the end. So this first one, isn't that pretty? Oh my gosh, I love this. So this floral one, this is filler block 18, and we are going to quilt this using a 4x6 design of geometric 7. I didn't tell you the size of the so the batting and the fabric the same. See, I've got mine the same. They're not attached, I just have them the same. And whether you did your fabric smaller or the 1/2 inch larger that I recommend, your batting will still be the same. So 5x7 on both of them is what I have. So that means that this one in the book will be listed as 4.5 by 6.5, and like I said, that will be fine. But my recommendation is 5x7 on your fabric and on your batting. And I did back mine with Fusible stabilizer. We're going to quilt them. This one's kind of a large one. So anyway, 5x7, this is for filler block 18. And like I said, we are going to quilt this using geometric 7 in a 4x6 quilting design. 4x6 geometric 7 for filler block 18. For filler block 19 is the pink arrows. This is a directional fabric, so keep that in mind when you did the prep video. When you watch the prep video, it should be facing the arrows facing this way, but your quilt your way. It's totally fine if yours are going a different way. It's not a big problem. So on this one, this is filler block 19, and we're gonna have both the fabric and the batting at 3x5. That's my recommendation. So that means in the book it was 2.5 by 4.5, and that's fine. 2.5 by 4.5 or 3x5. Either way you want your batting, 3x5. All right, so this is filler block 19. My recommendation is 3x5 for both the fabric and the batting. And we are going to quilt this using Hobby 6 in a 2x4 quilting design. Hobby 6 in 2x4. All right, that's for number 19. For number 20, pretty, I like this one. This is the yellow and pink flowers, and this one we are going to start with at 3x3. So that means in the book it says 2.5 by 2.5. My recommendation is 3x3 if you didn't already pre-cut before the prep video. Either way will work fine though. 3x3 for the fabric and for the batting. This is for filler block number 20. And we are going to quilt this one with geometric 7 in a 2x2. Geometric 7 in a 2x2 quilting design. All right, and then the last one, so there's 4 and they're not too big. I'll probably do the cross stitch hearts in one hooping and then do the filler blocks in a separate hooping, but we'll see. So on this last one, this is number 21, and we are going to start with this at 3x3. So that means in the book it says 2.5 by 2.5, and that will work fine. If you have the fabric available, I would go for 3x3. Like I said, it makes it easier because it will tack it down. So 3x3 for your fabric and for your batting. You can see it's a white with pink geometric design on it. And this one, we are going to quilt this with radial lines 2 in a 2x2 quilting design. Radial lines 2 in a 2x2. That's for filler block 21. All right, and that's it for today. So we will hopefully finish up section 3. I think we'll be able to finish up section 3. I am actually driving to California on Tuesday, so I don't know if you'll get this video out before then. I'll probably have to edit it when I'm in California, but I'm going to bring all my supplies, and I'm going to try and keep up on Oh So Delightful and Red, White, and Bloom while I'm out of town visiting my grandkids. So don't worry. We did just finish up the May Cuties. Hopefully you joined me for that. Isn't that so pretty? I love that one with the butterflies. That was really fun. So hopefully you got that complete and you're ready to get back to OSD and Red, White, and Bloom, whichever projects you're joining me for. And so let's go ahead and get started. Hey everyone, so let's quickly go over how to merge the blocks together in 1 or 2 hoopings using Embrilliance Essentials. So I checked, and you can fit both of the cross stitch hearts and all 4 of the filler blocks in a 10 by 16 hoop. That is definitely doable. I think I'm going to do 2 hoopings just for those that don't have that large of a hoop. It can be done in a 6 by 10 hoop and a 7 by 12 hoop. So I think I'm going to do that. But again, it can be done in the largest 10 by 16 hoop if you choose. So I'm going to open up Embrilliance Essentials. It's on my 7 by 12 hoop. I'm going to go up here. You can see your hoop size right down here. I'm going to go up to this Preferences folder, and I'm going to change it to my 6 by 10 hoop. And I'm going to click this H button on the compass and have it zoom into that. So I'm going to start with the cross stitch hearts that are on page 24, and the first one is the Hearts 5 quilting design in a 4x4. So I'm going to go to Merge Stitch File, and I'm going to bring in that quilting design. So it is Hearts 5. I use Pez for my machine, block by block, and we're looking for a 4x4 right there. 4x4 Hearts 5. All right, that's the first one. So I'm going to just take that. You can use your mouse button or your the keys on your keyboard to move it up. Either way will work fine. All right, so that one, I'm just bringing it up to the top without having it go over the hoop lines so that it won't have a problem when we get to the machine. All right, that's the first one. The second one is Zigzag 2. So I'm going to go to Merge Stitch File. And let's see, I'm going to close out this Hearts 5, and Zigzag 2 is right there. It's just asking where it is on your computer that you want to open it. I have mine on my desktop in a folder specifically for Oh So Delightful. And then we're looking for a 4x4. They're in numerical order, so I'm just clicking down. And remember that this one has a horizontal and a vertical, and we want the vertical design. So right here, 4x4 Zigzag 2 vertical. Double click on that, and it goes to the center. I'm going to click on the design. You have to make sure to click on the design so it knows what you want to move. And then I'm going to just use my arrow keys to bring this down. It keeps it in the center. That makes it nice and easy. All right. So you can see we don't have a ton of space in between here, but we have plenty. And this is using my 6 by 10 hoop. You could use an 8 by 12 if you prefer. Either way will work totally fine. All right. It looks like I can bring this down a little bit more actually. And all right, so I'm just zooming to make sure that I'm not over the hoop lines at all. And I'll go back to compass and H for the hoop. All right, so we need to change all these colors. You can see we've got the blues and the oranges as usual, and I'd like them to merge together, but I don't want the quilting designs to merge together. I have to make sure to keep that in mind because I will very likely use a navy blue on the blue fabric and then a pink on the pink fabric for the quilting. If you're going to do them the same, like if you had a gray or a tan or something that you wanted to use on both of them, then you wouldn't need to change the colors. You could have them be the same. All right, so I'm going to start with 1-1 here. Click on that and then click on the color. And I'm going to change it to the first color that comes up for me, which is dark aqua. All right, and then 1-2, click on the color. And the first color that comes up for me is Blaze. 1-3, click on the color. We've already used dark aqua, so I'm going to use the second color down, which for me is Marine. And then 1-4, click on the color. We already used Blaze, so I'm going to use the second color down, which is Oriole. All right, and then remember, we want these different, or at least I do. Decide now before we do this so that you know whether you want them to be the same or not. So click on the color. I'm on 1-5. The first color that comes up for me is Sprout. All right, and then I want the first 4 of these to be the same as what we did on the previous one so that those will join and I can do them together. So the first one was dark aqua, and then 2-2 was Blaze, and then 2-3. If you forget what they are, you can always see them right up here. Click on the color, and the second one is Marine. And then 2-4, we used Oriole. And then these are the ones that I want different. So I don't want to use Sprout. I want to use the next color down, which is for me sea green. All right, so those won't join. The first 4 will join on both of them, but not the quilting design. All right, so the quilting is done on those. Now we want to bring in that cross stitch heart. So I'm going to go to Merge Stitch File. And I'm going to close up the quilting. And let's see. Embroidery files, Pez. So Happy is the quilt we're working on, and we're looking for the cross stitch heart right there, cross stitch heart. I'm going to look down here just to make sure there isn't a larger one, but we need a 4.5 by 4.5. Anyway, this is perfect. So 4 by 4 cross stitch heart. Double click on that and it'll go to the center. And then actually I'm going to leave it here for now. I want to change these colors so that they will join with the other ones so that we can do them all together. So we've got those blues and oranges for the applique pieces. So we have to remember what we already used on our quilting. So I'm going to click on 3-1, click on the color, and we already used dark aqua and marine. So I'm going to use the third color down, which is Hawaiian blue for me. And then 3-2, click on the color, and we already used Blazing Oriole. So I'm going to go to Coral for the third color down. And then this apple we can keep, that should join, and then coin, that's the silver part, and then mocha. So we have all of those, and we can, I believe we can just leave those. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So now what we want to do is we want 2 of these, but first what I'm going to do, I'm going to close these up just to center them correctly. And I'm going to click on 1, which is our first quilting design. And then I'm going to click the control button on my keyboard and click 3. It didn't work. Let's try that again. 1 and then control and 3. There we go. All right, so 1 and 3 are selected. And the reason I'm doing that is so that I can merge them together. So I'm going to go to, I don't think merge is the right word. I'm going to align them together. So I'm going to go to Utility, Align and Distribute. And I'm going to say Center, Center, and apply, and you can see that it moved the whole design, so it brought it all down, which is totally fine. But I'm going to use my keyboard while they're both still selected. So I've got 1 and 3 selected, and I'm going to move it up, and it's not doing, oh, there it goes. Okay. All right, so that one's done. So now what we want to do is we want to click on 3, and we want to say Control C to copy it, and then Control V like victory to paste it. And it goes right on top of this one, so we can't really see it, but it's all highlighted, so I should be able to just move it down with my arrow on the keyboard. So you could try and line it up, but it's easier by far, in my opinion, to close that up and click on 2, the quilting design for 2, and then click on Control and click on 4. Didn't do it again. I don't know why my control's not working right. So 2 and 4, make sure that you have both of those selected, and then go to Utility, Align and Distribute, and then Center, Center, apply, and see how it moved the hoop up just to the right position. So that's what we wanted to happen. And it actually didn't move all of our design, it just moved the hoop. So I don't, if yours moved, make sure that you bring it back to where you want it so that you have enough space in between here for your fabrics. All right, so those are all done. That was very simple. We currently have 20 color steps. So now make sure, I just want to remind you again, that you have these set up how you want them in the hoop now, because once you do a color sort, you will not be able to move them. So make sure that you've already aligned these within the quilting design. Everything's all done, and then we can go to Utility, Color Sort, and it thinks, and it says it's reduced it by 9 color changes. And notice my settings here. Tolerance is at 0, force applique, none of these are selected. So I'm going to click New View. It'll open another tab. Here's that original tab with the 4 designs. And it opened a new tab so that everything is together in one design now. So I'm going to just quickly run through that and make sure it did what I wanted it to do. So there's our placement for our batting together, and our tack down of our batting, our placement of our main fabric, our tack down of our main fabric, and then the 2 quilting designs that I have them separated so that I can change my thread color. And then we have, what is this? The placement of the the fabric for in the hoop, this little hoop part, the applique piece, and then the tack down of those. And then there's our cross stitch heart. Now keep in mind, if you wanted your cross stitch heart to be a different color on each of them, then you would have to change that color. I want them together, so I didn't make that change, but I want to point that out just in case you had a different plan. All right, and then let's see, what is this? There's the silver part of that hoop, and there's the actual hoop, the stitched hoop. So that worked out perfectly. I'm going to do a file, save stitch file as, and I am going to go to my desktop. Let's see here, and Oh So Delightful, and that's the quilting. I don't want it in there. I want it with my embroidery files. You can put it wherever you're going to be able to remember where to find it. I'm just putting it back into my OSD So Happy folder. All right, and I'm going to name this Cross Stitch Hearts. Sorry, Cross Stitch Hearts ×2. All right, you could name it Cross Stitch Hearts with Quilting, whatever's going to help you to remember what you're doing. So that's the first one. That's perfect. Now I'm going to move on to the filler blocks. So with the filler blocks, we have 4 filler blocks in section 3. I'm going to go to File, New Page. And like I said, you can do those cross stitch hearts and the 4 filler blocks in a 10 by 16 hoop if you choose. It doesn't actually fit in a 9 by 14. I tested it and it really didn't, but it fits very easily in a 10 by 16. So you could do all of those together. I'm going to do them separately just for the people that don't have the biggest 10 by 16 hoop. So I did that. First one was in a 6 by 10 hoop. This one, if I recall, I did a 7 by 12. So I'm going to go ahead and check that. So right now down here, you can see I'm on my 6 by 10 hoop. So I'm going to go up to Preferences and I'm going to change it to my 7 by 12. And then I want to click on this compass button and then H so that it shows me my whole hoop. All right, so the first one is Geometric 7. So I'm going to go to Merge Stitch File. And I'm going to close up the embroidery files and look for my quilting bundle right there. And Geometric 7 and embroidery files. Block by block is the technique we're using. I use Pez for my machine, and we're looking for the 4 by 6 design. Right there, 4 by 6 Geometric 7. All right, double click on that. This is the one that is the floral, the flower fabric. So I'm going to click on this and then I'm going to rotate it. It doesn't matter which way you saw it. You can see that the design is not directional and also the fabric is not directional. So I'm going to go ahead and just click this rotate right button. It doesn't matter right or left. You could actually check and see which way you like. Doesn't matter at all. I think I'm going to go with that one. All right, and then I'm going to move it up. Oh, it doesn't do that. I forgot about that. So if you change the direction of it, you have to click outside of the workspace and then click on the block again to be able to use your arrow keys. I'm not sure why. I think that's kind of funny. But anyway, you do. So just remember that. All right, so that's the first one. Now that was filler block 18, and we will change all of these. We could go ahead and do it now. Let's go ahead and do it now so we're not bored doing all 5 of them. All right, so I'm going to click on this first one, click on the color, and the first color that comes up for me is dark aqua, and then 1, 2, click on the color. First color is Blaze. 1, 3, click on the color, and we already used dark aqua, so I'm going to use Marine. And 1, 4, click on the color, and we already used Blaze, so I'm using Oriole. And then these, the first 2, it says to use pink for the first 2 and then white for the second 2. You could change all of these, the thread colors, which is 1, 5. You could have them all different so that you can decide that when it comes time. I think I'll probably do that. I like to pick my thread colors on the filler blocks so that they stand out a little bit. So I'm just going to have them all be different actually. So I'm going to click on 1, 5, and the first color that comes up for me is Sprout. And that one is all done. That is all filler block 1, which is actually filler block 18. All right, so now I'm going to go to Merge Stitch File, and I'm going to bring in the next quilting design, which is Hobby 6. I'm going to close up this Geometric 7, There's Hobby 6 embroidery files, block by block. Pez is what I use. And then we're looking for a 2x4 right there, 2x4 Hobby 6. Double click on that and it goes to the center. I'm going to go ahead and just click on it and I'm going to bring it down here to the bottom. And then once again, we need to change these colors and we need most of them, the 1 through 4, to be the same as what we already used, but it's up to you what you do on this last quilting one on 2-5. So I'm going to go ahead and just quickly run through these. We used dark aqua, and then 2-2 we used blaze, and then 2-3 click on the color, and marine, and 2-4 color Oriole. And then this one, 2-5, I'm going to have it be different. You could do, in the book it says to do the first 2 as pink and the second 2 in white. So you could actually merge them together now if you choose. I'm going to do them separate just so that I can choose when I get there. So I'm choosing the second color down, which is sea green, and say okay. All right, so 2 is done. Now we need geometric 7 again. So I'm going to go to merge stitch file. And I'm going to close out Hobby 6 and open up Geometric 7 and block by block, Pez, and this time we're looking for a 2x2 right there. 2x2 Geometric 7, and this is for filler block 20. All right, and I'm just going to move it over here. Doesn't matter because we have plenty of room. I'm on my 7x12. I checked on a 6x10 and it really didn't fit, so I'm using a 7x12. 8x12 would work. Or like I said, you can do all of them in a 10x16 actually extremely easily. It fits with plenty of room. All right, so quickly running through these colors, you have to click outside of the workspace to be able to deselect them and then select on the first one. So dark aqua, and then 3-2, blaze. And don't forget, if you don't remember the colors, you can just open up this folder and it'll show you. It's not a folder. Open up this design and it will show you the colors that you used if you've forgotten. All right, so now the second one is marine, and 3-4 is Oriole, and then we should be on the third color down, so it should be mint for me. All right, that one's done. All right, and then the last one, merge stitch file, and I'm going to close up Geometric 7, and this one we were using Radial Lines 2. Right there, second folder, embroidery files, Pez. All right, and we want a 2x2 Radial Lines 2. Double click on that, and I'm going to just bring it down here just so that I have a little bit of space. You don't need much room at all on the filler blocks. There's a 1/4 inch on each side if you did them larger. If you didn't even do them larger, then you have no extra space, so you really don't need a lot of room. And you can see I've got a little bit of extra room here, and that's fine. So I'm going to click through these colors real quick. I'm on 4-1 for dark aqua, 4-2 blaze, 4-3 marine, 4-4 Oriole. And then 4-5, I'm going to do different. I'm going to do the fourth color down. 1, 2, 3, 4 is Magic Mint. All right, so those are done. Now make sure, as always, that you have these where you want them in your hoop, because you won't be able to move them once you do your color sort. So mine are fine. We currently have 20 color steps. I'm going to go to Utility Color Sort. And it's reduced it by 12 color changes. I'm going to click New View. And I'm just going to open this and real quick, placement for batting, tack down for batting, placement for main fabric, tack down for main fabric, and then the 4 quilting designs. Perfect. All right, these two are the same size, so you want to make sure to put the correct fabric down if you're going by the book. This geometric would be the one with the pink and yellow flowers, and then this Radial Lines 2 would be the one with those, it's the white fabric with the pink geometric design on it. All right, so that one is done. I'm going to go to File, Save Stitch File As, and I'm going to name this Filler Blocks 3. So happy. All right, save. All right, and I don't have my machine on, or I could send them wirelessly to my machine, or you can download them to your USB stick and bring it over to your machine, to your embroidery machine. All right, so we are all set. That was very quick and very easy, and I'm going to do it in 2 hoopings, and like I said, you can definitely do it in a 10 by 16. I already tested it, and it fits very easily, so that will work too to save on stabilizer. Or the 6 by 10 and 7 by 12 or 8 by 12 or whatever works for you, they fit fine. All right, let's get started. And don't forget to tell me how you're doing with your goal. So my husband and I went and climbed Table Rock this weekend. Yesterday we went and climbed Table Rock, and we're climbing up Table Rock. It's very steep, and it's like 73 degrees or something. Perfect day for it. How you feeling, Sami?
Great.
All right, here we go. And it was the perfect day for it. Absolutely gorgeous out. It was 77 degrees, I think, was the high, and we went, it was pretty warm when we went, but oh my gosh, it really couldn't have been more perfect. Lots of people up on the hill, lots of dogs. It was just an absolutely perfect day, and hubby motored right along with me for the most part. I mean, usually we start out together, and then he tells me to go ahead, and I go up to the top, and then I come down, and then we continue on back down. And this time he made it all the way up to the top, so that was pretty exciting. It's quite a climb. I think it's like 900 feet of climbing, and I don't know, a mile and a half or something like that. So it's a very steep climb, and you get your heart rate going like crazy. It felt great. I loved it. The only thing is I still have to finish that Irish challenge that I'm working on, the Irish running challenge on my Nordic truck. So I have to do that tonight. Today is the last day to finish that, so I'm going to be doing that tonight. And anyway, I want to hear how you're doing with your goal. Please tell me.